Bit by bit up front. Rahal goes through in second, Pruitt in third, Ribeiro in the yellow, blue and red car there in fourth, and then Alex Zanardi, the star of Cleveland. There goes Blundell. There's the gap you can see back to Bobby Rahal, and now with the view back to Alex Zanardi's car from the back of Andre Ribeiro's Reynard, and Ribeiro doing a fine job this weekend. He was the pole sitter here last year. Look at Zanardi, he's gone for the inside and he's going to go into that position. Another very clean piece of overtaking from Alex Zanardi, and who said you can't overtake on a street race? This track really has got a couple of good overtaking areas.
Yeah, I think perhaps they might have set that car up with a little bit less swing than they might otherwise have run. Enables him to be quick on that straightaway. Against that, of course, he needs to make sure he has a good exit out of turn one so he can get onto the straightaway well. But Alex Zanardi really on the move in the opening laps of this race. Tremendous effort, fifth place already for car number 4.
Blundell is some 1.8 seconds ahead at the moment of Bobby Rahal in second position, and so far so good in terms of yellow flags. We just had that one yellow flag at the start of the race, and everybody else has behaved themselves reasonably well as the rest of the field comes past our commentary position. We're all turning into turn number 1 there with Andre Ribeiro. I'm just looking down through the field. I can see Franchitti at the tail of the field. He's got past a few cars already, and looks like it's Michel Jourdain is the next one on his list. That's got him into 21st position, and he is looking very aggressive in his fight back up through the field, but he really has a hard afternoon's work ahead of him. Good view of the concrete patch there on the apex of that corner, and that's been the problem for all of the drivers and the teams this weekend, to get the cars to deliver any sort of grip over the concrete patches that are in various places around the circuit. Some teams seem to have done better than others, and certainly the team of Dario Franchitti, the Hogan Racing, and indeed the Pat West team did a great job in practice of getting their car sorted out. And the Target Ganassi team didn't seem to get theirs worked out quite as quickly, but Zanardi now is going very quickly indeed. Blundell through across the line to complete lap number 8. Bobby Rahal in second position. Pruitt, Zanardi, Ribeiro, Moore, Andretti, then Bozell, and then Jimmy Vasser running in 9th place ahead of Paul Tracy in 10th position. Great racing and showing up front, and I think still Alex Zanardi is the one to watch as we go through the early part of this stint, and still Blundell just eking away that advantage up to 2.4 seconds, the gap between himself and Rahal on the last lap. Zanardi not quite able to run alongside Scott Pruitt in the same way that he was with Andre Ribeiro. Interesting battle between the engines there. We've got a Ford engine in the back of Scott Pruitt's car, and a Honda engine, of course, in the back of Zanardi's.
Ahead of those two, of course, Mark Blundell, his lead now 2.4 seconds. The Mercedes engine, of course, in Mark Blundell's Reynard, Ford engine in Bobby Rahal's Reynard as well. And so most of the combinations here covered towards the front of this field. Fascinating stuff. Alex Zanardi clearly, I think, is faster than Scott Pruitt, but can't find his way past just yet.
So coming out of the turn number 11, just opposite our commentary position here, it's a fantastic corner. They're coming through there at about 100 miles an hour, turning in at just over 90, then building up the speed. They come on right out to the wall, down through turn number 1 now, and then accelerating again. This taken in second gear, dropping down to about 60 miles an hour, then accelerating back up through turn number 2 at over 100, then accelerating to 185 here in 6th gear, hard on the brakes. This was where Franchitti made up all his time, he reckoned, in qualifying yesterday, just by being a hero on the brakes. He said he just normally braked at the 400-meter board. He decided to brake at the 300-meter board, and he still made it round the corner. That's how he reckoned he got that fabulous pole position yesterday. Well, we're now riding on board with Michael Andretti, who's still hounding the back of Greg Moore. Yeah, talking of Dario Franchitti, he's up to 19th place now. He's just past Patrick Carponche. Next of him on the racetrack is the Reynard Toyota of PJ Jones. Great shots from on board Michael Andretti. He doesn't seem to be in too much of a hurry in the early stages of this race, but remember, he knows how to win here. 5 victories. It's really a remarkable record there. You could see just how close Blundell got to the wall. He's driving with so much confidence at the moment, Mark Blundell. The last few races, the win in Portland, a good qualifying effort in Cleveland that went wrong due to pit strategy more than anything else. Already coming up to lap 1 of the back markers, that's Dennis Vitolo, who's back out this race. First time since very early on in the season for Dennis Vitolo. But Blundell, there he goes, past Vitolo safely, driving absolutely superbly here this weekend. He's been as close to the walls as anybody, and yet he hasn't been hitting the walls. He's looked absolutely fantastic, hasn't he, Jeremy?
Inch perfect. It's amazing, you know, the bit of confidence he has now, right on the top of his game. Great to see.
Rahal through into in second place, through past Dennis Vitolo. Vitolo doing doing a good job here. He's keeping well out of the way. Remember, the driver of this car last week, Charlie Neerberg, had a few problems with when the leaders came around. Dennis Vitola, though, doing a good job. He's more experienced than Neerberg, and he's done a few IndyCar races in his time, and he seems to be doing a good job of keeping out of the way. Moore and Andretti have just both gone past him as well, as the leaders are back down into turn number 1. And Zanardi's continuing this campaign of trying to find a way past Scott Pruitt, but Pruitt's car seems to be very rapid on this straight. Let's look in the background as Pruitt still holds the position. Pruitt in the Firestone car, the yellow and orange coloured car. Zanardi in the red car, looking for a way past. Pruitt defending his line. Fair enough, he's allowed to do that. Meanwhile, Moore was under more pressure from Andretti. Oh yes, had a little go there, Andretti, but there wasn't the room again. And now Zanardi, oh, he's found a new place to overtake. Great stuff from the Italian, and he slips through on the left-hander there, and Alex Zanardi finally gets past Scott Pruitt.
Yeah, we talked about turn 5 earlier on. There he was down the inside into turn 5. It's a very tricky place. If you're going to make a pass there, it's got to be absolutely precise. You have to be completely alongside the guy you're trying to get past, otherwise he's probably not even going to see you. He's going to turn in and you're both going to crash. So great move by Alex Zanardi.
Now then, how quickly can he catch Bobby Rahal? The gap between Rahal and Pruitt last time was, well, let's just check it this time. Rahal Zanardi is just under 2 seconds as they come round this time. There he is, Zanardi. That's his progress up through the field from his starting position of 6th up to 3rd now. This a replay of the pass, and again very committed, down on the brakes on the inside, put his car, look, there was a little bit of contact there, just touched wheels, but that was a great move from Alex Zanardi, and there was not a lot that Scott Pruitt could do about it. And now with the gap just under 2 seconds last time around, let's see how quickly Alex Zanardi can catch up to the back of Bobby Rahal's car. Ribeiro still looking good as well in that 5th position.
Yeah, great effort by the Tasman Motorsports team. Of course, they've had a great weekend so far already. Neil Crompton in the Super Touring race had a 2nd place yesterday behind Dominic Dobson, won the 2nd race in their Honda Accord, and earlier this morning, Elio Castro Neves and Tony Kanana won 2 in the Indy Lights race. So a great weekend so far for Tasman Motorsports.
Mark Blundell leads here after 12 laps of the 95. Welcome back to Toronto for Eurosport's coverage of round 12 of the PPG Kart World Series, and it's British driver Mark Blundell who leads at the moment. We've completed 15 laps and he has a 3.2 second lead over Bobby Rahal. Alex Zanardi is now just 7/10 of a second behind Bobby Rahal and is still looking one of the fastest on track. Meanwhile, you're looking at the battle between Paul Tracy and Maurizio Gugelmin. This is the battle for 10th place. The championship leader, Paul Tracy in the Penske, really not on the pace here this weekend. They are struggling to get the car to work properly. Meanwhile, Dario Franchitti, the man who started from pole position, he is in 16th place after the contact on the opening lap with Bobby Rahal that dropped him right to the tail of the field. But Franchitti is charging. He's driving very well, and he's driving aggressively, and he's passing people.
He is indeed. Tremendous job. He's right up now behind a whole group of cars there. They were stuck behind Gualter Salas. Well, last couple of laps, Gilles de Ferran and Brian Herter have both got past Salas, who is now running 14th, and right behind Salas are Alan Jr. and Dario Franchitti. So he's making progress all the time, Ben. Great drive so far.
Well, let's see what that progress continues. Meanwhile, you're watching Zanardi now right on the tail of Bobby Rahal's car, and Rahal is now beginning to defend that line down into turn 3, one of the critical overtaking areas as we've seen already here this afternoon. Zanardi, though, looking very strong indeed to try and find a way past the former 3 times IndyCar champion. It's been a long time since Bobby's won a race, but if he's going to do it somewhere this year, this would be a suitable place. He's led more laps than anybody else on this racetrack in the past 12 years, and Bobby Rahal, the winner of the first ever Toronto street track race, always goes well here, was talking about it in the press conference yesterday. Meanwhile, Mark Blundell's got a little bit held up behind Hiro Matsushita. There he goes, and in fact Matsushita's come in, but a lot of Blundell's lead there eaten away by Matsushita. It was 3.3 seconds before Blundell got held up there, and the gap, let's just see, is down to 1.1 seconds. Bad news indeed for Blundell as he got held up behind the back marker. He's now got to work hard again to pull away from Bobby Rahal and Alex Zanardi. Zanardi just a fraction behind Rahal as they came round. Meanwhile, Franchitti's still on the move up through the field. He's now
14th place. He got past Gualter Salas and Alan Jr. So next ahead of him is Brian Herter. There's actually a couple of seconds between those two. I fancy Dario will eat that 2 seconds up pretty quickly.
So Alex Zanardi, look at that, just sliding the car a little bit in his chase of Bobby Rahal. Rahal's controlling this position at the moment, but how much longer can he keep off the Italian? Blundell has pulled away again a little bit up front now that he's got some clear space ahead of him. and Rahal is busy concentrating on his mirrors to stop Zanardi coming past. This is coming through the last couple of corners to complete the lap, around through turn 11, right in front of our commentary box, and Zanardi's had a good run out of this corner. I wonder if he's going to have a little go into turn number 1 at the end. I don't think he's quite close enough to have a go into there, but you can see he's right under the rear wing of Rahal's Reynard. Blundell through. There's Rahal, there's Zanardi, and once again he's tucked under the rear wing. Now here's an opportunity as they come down towards turn 3. Maximum speed building up here, and Zanardi, which way is he going to go? Outside or inside? He's going for the outside. Rahal is defending the inside line. Oh, Rahal's made a little mistake that could give Zanardi the chance to get alongside, but he doesn't quite manage it. But what about up into turn 5 where we saw him go past? Yes, he does it there into turn 5, a little bit wide on the exit, but he's managed to get through safely. Wow, this is great racing from Alex Zanardi. He really put Rahal under pressure. Rahal made the little mistake at turn 3, and Alex capitalized on it 2 corners later.
Fantastic. So this is what IndyCar Racing Hall is all about. Wheel-to-wheel contact, not contact, wheel-to-wheel driving and no contact is what I meant to say. And tremendous stuff. I mean, the crowd here is literally on their feet in parts of this racetrack, and it's great to watch at this stage.
It is. Now then, Zanardi is going chasing after Blundell, of course. The gap is 2.4 seconds between these two now, and Mark is going to have his mirrors full of that red car fairly soon, I should think, judging by the way that Alex Zanardi is driving here. The team has obviously done a fine job, as Blundell already laps Dennis Vitolo for the 2nd time. It just shows you how far off the pace Vitolo is at the moment. He's been lapped twice in 19 laps here. But Zanardi's pace, very, very impressive, considering they were struggling a bit in the qualifying on Friday and Saturday. This is a replay of Zanardi's move on Rahal. And look, Zanardi went in a little bit too quick, if anything. Ran a little wide on the exit, but he managed to keep it out of the wall. Came pretty close. I should think that caused a few